Welcome to Mallory Park. It's the AVON Tyres Golden Era Superbike and Alto Digital GP1 Classics here. Well, it used to be the home of Thundersport, back where it all began, back in 2008. It's our first time here since 2014. 3 years have gone by, but we are back. And in this championship, Golden Era Superbikes, this man here leads at Mallory Park. Number 71, Richie Thornton, coming into this weekend with a 32-point lead over Ryan Strafford, number 57. They shared the victories yesterday, but in the GP1 Classics, it's all about Shane Pearson, number 35, on pole position. He didn't get off to a great start, though. There, really struggled off the line. In fact, it was Stephen Britton, who's here on the 4 Racing Yamaha for the weekend, that has got off to the best start, number 4. Around Gerrard's we go. He leads from Richie Thornton. Shane Pearson then is in 3rd place. Now, Superbike lap record was broken yesterday. That used to be held by Lee Reevely, but Richie Thornton broke that yesterday. And in the GP1 Classics, well, it's their first time here. And Shane Pearson's fastest time yesterday of 54.4 is the one to beat. On board here with Ryan Strafford then on his Honda. And just making up a place there on Mark Biswell, number 1, last year's steel frame champion. And Ryan Strafford at the moment really just got to keep his eyes focused purely on number 71, Richie Thornton, in the championship. And this isn't the best way to start things off, because he'll see that Richie Thornton leads overall ahead of Stephen Britton, and then in 3rd there Shane Pearson. And once he gets the wheels in motion, he'll be flying here. He's just got the edge over everyone so far this weekend. Martin Stanier is in 4th place, number 121 on his blue machine. But at the moment, Richie Thornton got off to a best start, up ahead of the 2 Yamahas, Sid.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Strafford's got to keep his eye on the ball here, because if he's not careful, he's going to dribble away, isn't he? He goes up the inside of Andy Chalice there, I think it was, wasn't it? It's tough, isn't it? It's really, really tough. And I don't know, it's a difficult one. Glad to see Shane Pearson obviously still doing really, really well. Had 2 really good days yesterday, 2 wins, and that's become very successful, that GP1 Classic Series. A lot of people peeling their bikes out of the garage from like the late 90s and so on. And he's done really well, Ryan, on the RC51, and Chris's dad has done amazing work on it. Really is the most beautiful machine, but he's having to work really hard to stay in touch with Richie Thornton on a 4-cylinder.
Well, as we see these guys heading around Shaw's Hairpin, we should just point out that the GP1 Classics score separate points compared to the Golden Era Superbikes. So at the moment, Stephen Britton it is that leads this race, leads the GP1 Classics from Shane Pearson, 3rd on circuit, and then Martin Stanier. But Richie Thornton there, 2nd in this race at the moment, leading the Golden Era Superbikes. Ryan Strafford, despite being far down, is in 2nd, so he is limiting the damage, if you like, which does, of course, then beg the question.
I mean, it's why I said he's got to be careful that Richie doesn't dribble away from him, because I realised that he was kind of in 2nd as such within his own championship. But he did he get 1 or 2 race wins today at Cadwell? Can't remember, I think it was 1, but he's doing really, really well, and they're so close, the 2 of them together. They've had some great battles and everything, but it's just a shame to see it dribble away. He's pretty good at rocking them, isn't he?
Well, he's regrouped a bit here as well, Strafford, but he's going to find it tough going to try and catch Thornton in this race. They shared the wins yesterday. It looks at the moment like Thornton's got the bit between his teeth right now, although here comes Strafford. Nice move he just put on Martin Stanley there at Shaw's Hairpin, but it hasn't quite come off. Can't confess to knowing all that much about Stephen Britton, who currently leads this race, although he is now coming under attack from Shane Pearson. Of course, remember Shane, a former Golden Era Superbike champion with Thundersport GP, and up the inside, nicely done there from Pearson. He goes into Ed Wieners.
Well, I think that this class, the GP1 Classics, which utilises bikes basically that weren't going to be any good for anything else anywhere else, and in any other series, and it's now catching the attention of quite a lot of people, and they'll come along and they get some good racing, and and I mean they're still brilliant bikes, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still fairly competitive as well. As we go across the line there, Shane Pearson, he's just posted a time of a 54.2. Now that is pretty quick, because not only is that a new lap record that he set, I know that they're a new class for this weekend, but that time would put him about 14th, 15th in GP1.
Yeah.
So it's not too shabby.
No, I mean, and these machines, I mean, this would only be, I think that's only a standard motor in this, so I'm told, in this R1. So that'll only be poking out, I don't know, 143, 145 at the rear wheel, as against, like 190 some of the GP1 bikes come out of the crate at, don't they?
Just saw there Michael Gover, further back a few places. There we see, quite get the number actually on that one, but it was the battle further back anyway. Kurt Powell, Michael Gover, Andy Windsor, Jack York, Ben Webster. There's the freshman class as well, the GP1 overflow if you liked. A couple of riders to look out for. Robert Smith, number 775 at the moment, leading that one. There he is in fact, just behind Jordan Watling on circuit. Shout out to Jordan Watling actually, finishing on the podium in both races yesterday in Golden Era Superbike. And at the moment, despite scuffling away with Biswell and Robert Smith, that freshman rider, he is in line for another podium here as well, Jordan Watling.
Just saw Colin Mooney there, having a very sedate Sunday afternoon ride around, which was most unlike him. When you saw him when he was battling for the lead in the Thundersport 500 Seniors, seems funny to see him sedately riding around, doesn't it?
He might argue that he's not sedately riding anywhere at the moment, but I suppose it's not quite as sharp as he was in the 500s. The last lap flag is out. This has been pretty solid work from Shane Pearson so far. Since he's got out front, he's just built on his lead. Stephen Britton in line to take second in the GP1 Classics, with Stanier third. Richie Thornton third on circuit. There he goes, the yellow bike, number 71, but leading in Golden Era Superbikes from Strafford and Watling. Just coming around now to put a lap on Andrew Meechan, who's out there on what looks like one of the RS Racing Hondas.
Yeah,
sort of part of the team of Ryan Strafford.
His teammate, and AJ McDaniel's the other lad, isn't he, in 600s.
Here we go then, checker flag out. Shane Pearson's going to make it 3 out of 3. The former Golden Era Superbike champion rounds Devil's Elbow, a lap record and a race win. Nicely done there from Shane Pearson. Second place is going to go to Stephen Britton. Third is Richie Thornton. He picks up the Golden Era Superbike victory. In fourth across the line was Martin Stanier, ahead of his old foe, Ryan Strafford. Those two used to scuffle it out in the Street Fighters on a regular basis. Robert Smith was sixth and won the freshman class. So let's take a look at them on the podium then. We'll start first of all with Golden Era Superbike, Richie Thornton from Ryan Strafford and Jordan Watling. In the GP1 Classics, it was Shane Pearson, Stephen Britton and Martin Stanier. And in the GP1 freshman class, it was Robert Smith, Kurt Powell and Roman Grendel. We'll be back in a moment to see if Shane Pearson can make it 4 out of 4 here at Mallory in just a few moments. Time for race 2 then here in the Golden Era Superbikes and GP1 Classic. Shane Pearson has won all 3 races outright so far. Looking for 4 out of 4 for the first time in his career, which is a surprise. I must admit, I thought he would have done that at some point in Golden Era Superbikes in the past. Will this man stop him, Stephen Britton, or will it be Richie Thornton, the leader of the Golden Era Superbike Championship? He is up there. Let's keep an eye on Ryan Stratford, see if he can get off the line a bit better here in this race, because that really held him back. He had a lot of work to do in race 1. He finished 2nd. Coming into this race, he's 37 points down on Thornton overall. In terms of GP1 Classics, Shane Pearson at the moment has just got such a comfortable lead overall, and it's only going to extend if he does the same in this race. It's the whole shot once more for Stephen Britton. Richie Thornton is up into 2nd place, Shane Pearson 3rd, and it's as you were in race 1 here with Ryan Stratford, who did get a slightly better start this time, in 4th place, just ahead of Martin Stanier. On the brakes then into Ed Wieners. Didn't think for a moment there that Richie Thornton was going to get the bike stopped, but he did. On board now with Ryan Stratford, just up ahead of him there. We can see the battle raging. The top 3, that's Shane Pearson directly ahead of him, and he's about to have a little nudge up the inside. That's lovely stuff from Ryan Stratford. Just further behind there, Jordan Watling going up the inside of Andy Chalice. So Stratford up to 3rd. Now he's got eyes only for Richie Thornton. Can he stay with him? Ryan Stratford struggled to get into the 54s so far this weekend in terms of lap times. Behind them is Stanier and Biswell. So a good start for Mark Biswell there as well, number 1, there he is. Tipping it into Gerrard's, then it's Jordan Watling. Now on board with Richie Thornton then. Thornton, the Golden Era Superbike Championship leader. Now going up the inside of Stephen Britton and leads this one outright. Doesn't need to necessarily get himself involved in the races with these GP1 Classic bikes, but hey, if the offer's there, he may as well take it. And these lot are bunching up a bit. Mark Biswell now joining in the fun and closing up in the early stages. Here comes Stratford. He was a demon on the brakes on the last lap, and he's a demon on the brakes once more. Nice move.
Very good indeed. Very impressive, Ryan.
So Stratford has found something here. He's had a decent lunch, that's for sure. The 2 Golden Era Superbike boys sending shockwaves to the 2 GP1 Classic riders at the moment. This isn't how it really should work. GP1 Classics, the more modern machinery, ultimately the quicker machine, you would argue, develops the power obviously in a slightly different way. Might not necessarily be the quicker bike actually, but
well, if it was a, you know, if these were like complete and utter out and out super bikes, which they're not. I mean, it's called that, but they're not the magnesium covers and all the bits and pieces that went with them. If they were out and out super bikes, then they would be more powerful even so than the R1s that you see there. Although the R1s arguably could be tuned to go faster than they are at the moment. I mean, it's all a matter of what you need to do to win races at this level, isn't it? If everybody starts to tune, then they all have to tune. You have to tune to get by them, and so on and so forth.
If you're looking at that bike thinking it looks familiar, number 5 there, that's because it is. That's Andy Windsor out on Rob Goodall's bike again. And considering that Rob Goodall races in the Golden Era Supersport, he's been brave there. I noticed that he's chosen wisely to give him the bike though after he's finished his business for the day, because of course Robert Goodall leads the Golden Era Supersport Championship. I don't think he'd be lending his bike to Andy if it were any other way, especially after Andy borrowed it in Cadwell and kindly threw it up the road. Further back there is Jason Dixon, number 10.
So the question is, can Ryan, I mean Ryan in the Superbikes, he obviously won one yesterday, and Richie Thornton won the other one in that class. But can they do the same again today, so they're effectively even Stevens, or will he let him have a few more points to dribble away again?
Well, he's just lost second place there to Shane Pearson, but I don't think he'd be too worried about that.
That's not really important, is it?
No, and Pearson, once he gets sort of midway through this race, his tyres are up to temperature. I don't think it'll be long now before he homes in on Thornton. What Stratford needs to do now is try and stay with Pearson and hope. Oh, a moment there for Stephen Britton on the exit of the S's. He's got to hope that maybe Shane Pearson can duff up Thornton a bit and bring him into play, because like you say, as it stands, it's 2 wins for Thornton and 1 for Stratford here this weekend, so it's a 5-point advantage to Thornton. So as you look at it right now, they would go into Rockingham and Thornton would have a 37-point lead over.
Look at that, as clean
Ryan
as you
Stratford.
like though, look at Pearson. He's such a clean overtaker, and I think that's why he doesn't bother always getting too mixed up on that first corner, you know, Steve. He'd prefer to just sit back, and they're long, you know, for him, the races are long enough to just pick people off one at a time, you know, where he feels happiest.
Ryan Stratford here just closing in on the back of Richie Thornton, and look, you can see it's almost as if you can look into his helmet right now. His ears are pricked up. He can see his championship rival right in front of him now.
He needs this one, doesn't he?
He does need it.
You know, he needs this win.
It's a long championship though.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that Thornton might just be able to eat out maybe a couple of points here and there, Thornton has consistently, in terms of lap times anyway, been the faster of the two here this weekend. Stratford does not want to throw it down the road, but he's certainly going to have a go at this.
And you're only like roughly, oh, look at that, superb. Absolutely brilliant manoeuvre there.
Or is he run it wide though? No, he's just about holding his line. That was lovely from Ryan Stratford. Now Thornton will react. Here we go then, down the Steppy straight. Will Thornton outbrake him into Ed Wieners? Not on this occasion, he won't. On board with Richie Thornton now then. So yeah, as Sid said, it's as you were. If things stay like this, they will not have gained on each other at all this weekend.
And they're only like, you know, this is the thing, Richie's only just sort of about a race win or just over away, you know, and you know and I know that anything can happen, and usually does in this game. And so it's nothing in the great scheme of things at the halfway point of the season. You know, it's just, you know, I mean, Ryan does want it. He wants this championship real bad. But he's going to have to keep working like hell at it. And the same with Richie, isn't it? I mean, it's the same thing. You know, Richie's worked hard. He had a lot of bad luck last year. He was very lucky when his bike gave up to get one lent him for the weekend, which was great news for him. But yeah, there's a way to go, all to play for.
After this weekend, there will be 4 rounds left. That's 400 points available to Stratford and Thornton. If you're wondering why we're not talking much about the GP1 Classic Championship that's being led by Shane Pearson, it's because at the moment, John Wright in second overall just hasn't really got anything to challenge Shane Pearson with. It's almost like it's a matter of time, really, for Pearson. If he does everything right and does all the simple things well,
he looks in charge, doesn't he?
He looks completely in charge. But this is a championship that intrigues us because Stratford has shown in the past at Thundersport that he can win championships, and he's willing to fight until the bitter end. But like Sid says, anything can happen over a weekend. If Thornton was to get the better of Stratford, it would be 42 in it going into Rockingham. But there's 400 still available. Someone's on the grass in the background there. I don't know what happened there. But here is Pearson then. On board now further back with Andy Windsor. He's obviously on a 600 there, but he has to classify as a Golden Era Superbike. He's inside the top 5. He's going pretty well, considering he's on a 600. It's a shame Andy Winder's not actually out there on a semi-competitive Golden Era Superbike or GP1 Classic, because I don't know if it's just down to money or not, but he showed in the past that he's capable. As has Shane Pearson. Checker flag is out then. He's made it 4 wins out of 4. Stratford fell at the end. He'll be disappointed in that. Thornton takes the win in Golden Era Superbikes. It will be a 42-point lead, if my maths are correct, going into the next round at Rockingham. Stephen Britton was 3rd in that race and 2nd in class. Top 3 then in Golden Era Superbikes there. Richie Thornton from Ryan Stratford and Mark Biswell. In the GP1 Classics, it was Shane Pearson from Stephen Britton and Martin Stanier. And in the freshman, Rob Smith wins it again from Kurt Powell and Ryan Ledbetter. Thornton it is then that has the advantage in the championship overall. My maths are not right. So forget that. It's a 46-point lead for Richie Thornton going into the next round. And as you can see there, over 100 points the advantage for Shane Pearson in GP1 Classics. That's it from us here at Mallory Park. Thanks very much for joining us here. We'll be back round 6 at Rockingham next time.